Welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Roundtable at a Square Table. I want to thank our friends here at Buffalo Wild Wings for hooking us up again today. Also, if you're looking for some great pizza, Domino's.com can come through for you later on tonight. We have a ton of food choices in Raiderland. We'll start off about Texas Tech and Oklahoma. I don't even want to get into really the on-field stuff right now, the X's and O's. I'll just say this. What is an acceptable outcome now? We're to the point now, I'm not even talking about winning a game, I'm talking about acceptable outcome. What is it?
Make it a game?
Yeah, be there?
I mean, yeah, show up and make it a game. It's a night game at the Jones. Historically, these have been those games in the past, especially during the Leach years, that fans just got up for. It got rowdy in the stadium. They got pumped up for it, and teams would kind of feed off that energy from the crowd. So I think you want to see that. Offense just not struggle, but keep going, keep the crowd into the game, because the second they're taken out and that lead gets larger and larger and larger and the crowd starts to dissipate.
You'll see the full-on Tubervillification again of the Jones.
Exactly. The same thing again like you saw, and there's 300 people left in the fourth quarter.
Am I being too harsh in my low level of expectations?
No, you're not. And you're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't very good.
It was not good. It wasn't good on the field, off the field. There are just so many things that people are upset with right now. You've got to redeem yourself, and I don't even think you have to win. I think you've got to
be
play
competitive.
Well. And where's the fire? Where from the team, from the coaching staff, anybody? Act like you want to be there. Act like you hadn't read in the paper all week that you're playing at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
Is that maybe the most frustrating thing right now for the fan base, is that you don't feel like there's progress, that this shouldn't be happening in year 4 with Cliff Kingsbury, that somehow the message is not getting received?
I don't know if it's the message. The thing
maybe it was surprising was a better word.
Surprising is the good word. But then you look at the problems that you're having. Offensive line, that's your biggest problem right now. The most concerning thing to me about that is you're in the 4th year of Cliff Kingsbury. You've had 3 recruiting classes, the same position coach, same offensive coordinator, and same
people
head
evaluating
coach.
all those
Everybody's
players.
still there. And this is what you have right now. You're playing with 2 guys that Tuberville recruited, and you're patchworking everybody else.
Kind of frightening.
I think there's a simple question you have to ask yourself if you're a fan, a coach, an administrator, anything when it comes to this. Are you in a better position than you were 4 years ago? And I think the resounding answer to that right now is no, you're not. In fact, you might be worse off than
It's
you were
hard to make
4
that
years
case
ago.
right now, isn't it? All right, we swing it over here to Clint on the right-hand side. Your left-hand side as you stare at home, and you're not going to be allowed to touch this. You do realize. What?
What? Just did.
Cut. Acceptable outcome for you as a Tech fan right now.
I would just like to see the team come out and have some energy.
Yeah.
It was like the air was let out of them last week, and it just seems like it's going that direction. Just
Well,
come out and maybe even pretend that they think they might be able to.
I got to go
win
back
the
to what
game.
Spike used to say. He'd say, you only do this, back then it was 11 times a year. You only do this. How can you be flat? How can you not be ready to play? We're old. We understand how fleeting the moment is to be on the field.
Right.
I can't imagine giving that away.
It would be great to have Spike here to tell them, we're going to win some, we're going to lose. Maybe we could win one today, one of those deals. But I just like to see the team come out and look like they think they could compete.
Let's talk about defense a little bit right now. Even with Pirine out, any hope right now that this Tech defense could slow them down to under 40 points? Because I don't know that the offense can get to 40.
I think I'm hoping we keep them under 100 points.
It's acceptable.
That's my hope. That's what I'm looking for when I get there on Saturday.
That and cheese.
Cheese.
Where is this defense right now? We saw some improvement during the Sunflower State swing, and then, again, it's hard to hang your hat on anything really that went on Saturday for the defense.
It is, and it all comes down to that running game again and how you play against it. That was the Achilles heel against Arizona State. It happened again when you face Kansas State. It happened again with West Virginia. They even had their starting running back went out of the game basically at halftime or a little before halftime, and their backups were in doing the same thing. Skylar Howard did what he wanted to. It comes back down to that same thing with Oklahoma because they run the ball so well. Even without Pirine in the game, Mixon is arguably the best all-purpose yards weapon in the Big 12 Conference. I mean, he has like 895 all-purpose yards this year. So you're not going to have to just defend the rush with him. You got to get him on the outside. You got to watch the flats. And what are Tech's 2 weakest things right now is defense, other than O-line, defense and special teams. And those are the 2 areas where Mixon is so good at beating you, on that rush against your rushing defense and on special teams. You got to do it. You got to do what Houston did. Houston blitzed them 30% of the game. They forced Baker Mayfield to have mistakes. They pressured him 7 times. They sacked him 5 times, and they forced 3 fumbles. You have to try and do what Houston did, because that was the perfect playbook to have a defense that's not as talented beat an offense that is that talented.
So, Scott, does Texas Tech have the players that Houston has on defense to do that?
No, they don't.
I don't see those guys.
No, there are a couple guys that Tom Herman got that that you'd be happy to have at Texas Tech. But I think maybe you play the Baker Mayfield card. The disrespect, and you don't have to say it publicly, but privately, if you want to, if you got a couple voice messages saved from Baker or Baker's dad or somebody else, you play the Baker Mayfield card. And, hey, have Chimmy's cater. Why not?
What I want to see Tech's defense do is force Mayfield to be the guy, because I think when he's forced to make plays and try to win the game for OU, it doesn't happen. But that's not going to happen if you can't stop the run game.
That's true.
Lincoln Riley ain't going to let him throw it.
Baker Mayfield wants to put on a show.
Yep.
And take advantage of that. Make him make the mistakes that are really the reason he's not here.
So basically, we got to get Baker Mayfield to say he ordered the code red.
Absolutely.
We can do that.
I think you're right.
Motivation time. If you guys were the motivational head coach for the Red Raiders, you could show them any movie before the Oklahoma game. What movie would you show them?
My first answer was Miracle, because I love that movie and I'm such a hockey guy. Herb Brooks' speech in the locker room right before the game against the Russians is probably one of the best in my mind, and just that whole, you get goosebumps.
Then we'd have to explain to the players who the Russians
are.
Well,
and I think that's the thing, though. That team.
It's an Olympic year, though.
It is an Olympic year. That team was such a good representation of taking a bunch of college kids who basically hated each other in college when they played against each other.
Playing on borrowed skates.
Yes.
Couldn't even lace them up.
And making them play as one team and beat basically the most talented group in the world in their sport. And you kind of have to try and do that on Saturday. So, I mean, that's a good little bit. But now I kind of want to go with A Few Good Men after you made that comment.
That's a good one, too.
Either one of those.
Scott, you got a movie?
Dodgeball, a true underdog.
Dodge, dive, duck, and dodge.
Get Vince Vaughn out here.
Somebody was going to say it. All right, you are the movie expert, even though you're not. What would you show them?
What am I an expert of? Am I an expert
really
of
sure.
anything? I'm not sure either. I thought a lot about this since about minutes ago.
Yes.
It's got to be one of two. It's either going to be Driving Miss Daisy, which
a classic.
shows teamwork right there.
Yeah, how to work together.
That'll pump them up. Or Twister, because it's all about just tearing Oklahoma to shreds.
Twisters.
That's great.
So if we could lose the whole state, we would be doing good. So I say Twister.
I knew when I asked this one, it might turn out a little bit interesting. I don't know. I'd probably go with either the first 8 minutes of Patton and just show them that speech.
Yeah.
Then I'd give them about a 22-minute dose of Saving Private Ryan at the beginning and say, you think your job's hard? Forget it. Go out and do something now. These guys were your age. Look what they were doing when they were your age. I think you might be able to go play some ball.
Could pull that off.
I think he could. Yeah, you've got the right guy. He could dress up like Patton and walk into the locker room and do the speech.
They could show Waterboy, and then they'd actually see what tackling looks like.
Very good, but also dicey. Dicey at best. All right, we appreciate you guys. Drop us a line. It's real easy. You can do it in the comment section. If there's something you want us to talk about, debate, or any questions you want us to answer, we'll be glad to do it. Thanks again to Buffalo Wild Wings for letting us hang out. Time to get our wing on.